Good afternoon and welcome to the sixth of this series of webinars referred to the first call for proposals for the business plan 2022-2024. Today, we will talk about different things. Mainly, we will talk about an introduction to PLAZA that will be divided in two main points. On the one hand, we'll have the registration to PLAZA system that will be presented by my colleague Paulina. On the second hand, we will have the creation and submission of a project proposal that will be presented by my colleague Oscar. It's important to mention that besides we are going to explain every tab of the PLAZA application, the specific technical content of the call is specifically defined at the call documents. Accordingly, for any additional doubts that you can have referred to the technical parts of the application forms, etc., I encourage you to contact directly with the specific EIT urban mobility area of the call at which you would like to submit your project proposal. You can find any contact details, within the different areas, etc., in the call documents that you can find at the EIT urban mobility website. And finally, without further delay, let me give my word to my colleague Paulina. Paulina, please.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paulina Toropova. I am Partnership Engagement Officer at EIT Urban Mobility. And today I will talk about users and organizations registration on PLAZA. Next slide, please. So why is it really important that users registration on PLAZA even before creating your proposal? Because registration of at least one user from your organizations triggers two processes. So basically, once at least one user registers, we create your organization on PLAZA and assign your first user as a single point of contact. So single point of contact is a term that we use on PLAZA mainly, is a person serving as a focal point on PLAZA, and every organization needs to have SPOC. So yeah, you will often also hear that we call single point of contact as SPOC, so just don't get surprised. And what is also important to mention here is that those two processes that I have described are not triggered automatically. So they are processed by EIT Urban Mobility Project Management Team within the same working day of the registration. Next slide, please. So how can you register on PLAZA? You have probably received and have seen some links in the guidelines for the calls, but you can also go to our website, eiturbanmobility.eu, go to partners area. Next slide, please. And then you will find a link to PLAZA. You can follow this link. And next slide, please. And then, well, you've got two options. If you're already a PLAZA member, you will put your email address as a username and your password that only you know. And if you are first time on PLAZA, you need to follow the registration request form. Next slide, please. So how to register on PLAZA? You need to fill in this form. So basically all the mandatory information that is marked with a star, you need to fill and complete all the 5 tabs of the registration form. Next slide. So once you have filled in all these 5 steps of the registration, you will get an email that your registration has been received and now it is under approval of EIT Urban Mobility team. So once we trigger those two processes that I have spoken about before, you will receive a welcome email with a one-time passcode within the same day, as mentioned before. I just would like to pay your attention that sometimes this welcome email with the passcode goes to spam folder. So please make sure you check all the folders possible in your mailbox before you reach out to plaza@eiturbanmobility.eu. But anyways, if you have any questions or any issues, you can always write to this email box and we will try to help you. Next slide, please. So yes, once you have received the passcode and you have entered it, well, on the first page of the PLAZA tool, and if everything was successful, you will log in into PLAZA. You need to go to partnership information form. Next slide. And then you can find your organization in the list of all the registered organizations by using different filters. Now, if this is your first time when you're trying to look up for the organization, you probably will not know your partner ID. So I highly recommend to look up by the organization name in English or legal organization name. This is normally the same name that you have mentioned during your registration. So, if you're a first user of your organization, you have been assigned a spoke, and you should be able to see a special icon that allows you to edit the partner information form for your organization. Next slide. So as said, only PLAZA single point of contact or spoke has edit rights and also has more responsibilities than some other contacts. So you need to make sure that all the data in the partnership information form is complete, correct, and is always up to date. So just to mention, PLAZA is the main tool that we use for gathering your organizational data information that we use in the other channels and platforms later on for creating pre-filled documents. So it's really important that you keep this partner information form always up to date. If there is a change in LIAR, you let us know through this form, change in legal representative or finance contacts. And also you will be able to see all submitted proposals of your organizations. So if you wish to change spoke of your organization, first make sure that this user that will be a new spoke is registered on PLAZA. And secondly, the current spoke needs to, just make a change on PLAZA, and from the drop-down menu, choose another contact. Next slide. So spoke, as already mentioned before, needs to complete partner information form. And obviously, do not forget to always save your changes. Next slide. So there are quite a lot of fields that you need to fill in, but don't get scared. Next to every field, there is a question mark icon where you could put your cursor on, and you could always see what is actually requested for this field. And sometimes there are even links and more like clear explanations what is needed. So you can always refer there. If it's still not clear, then you can obviously write to us at plaza@mobility.eu and we will let you know. Next slide. So as also previously, so all the fields that are marked with a star icon are mandatory. So you won't be able to generate PDF later on from this form. So please make sure that you complete all the mandatory fields. Next slide, please. And so in the partnership information form, you will have 4 fields where you will need to assign roles in your organization. So you will be a PLAZA spoke, but you will also need to choose LIAR, legally appointed representative, legal representative, and finance contact. So if the required person is not in the available list, then you need to ask this person to register first on PLAZA. If you know for sure that the contact has registered but still is not appearing in the list, then please write to us and we will fix this. Next slide. So just before we move forward, important points that you have to remember. Please register on PLAZA before creating proposal so that these 2 processes will get triggered and your organization will get created. So registration's approval is within the same working day. So please be patient. As spoke, please always keep your partnership information form up to date. And before assigning other roles in your PIF, make sure colleagues are registered and they have access for sure. Thanks a lot. And now I will give floor to my colleague Oscar, who will show you how to basically create a proposal on PLAZA.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oscar Iranzo, and I'm the CAVA support CAVA Management and Support Officer within the PMO team at EIT Urban Mobility. And I will now carry out a live run through of how to create in our platform Plaza a new proposal from scratch. Before I do so, let me just say that at EIT Urban Mobility, we are very glad to see your interest in our first multi-year call for proposals. Now it covers 3 years from 2022 to 2024. And we are certainly looking forward to reading and seeing all your proposals. So I will now share my screen. And here you can see what would be a normal view in our platform called Plaza. Here's the main page. And when you want to go to create a new proposal, first of all, of course, look at the section that says here, call for proposals. And what I would suggest before starting the process of creation of the proposal per se, I would click on this button, the information button for the call 2022. And you will be immediately redirected to our website that informs you about the information for the different thematic areas and their respective calls. So for instance, if you want to submit a proposal for innovation, you can click on the innovation section and you can read about what is the strategic approach, the main features of the call, and also you can access the different documents that are good to take into consideration. There in the bottom, the call guidelines for applicants, appeal procedure, list of KPIs, etc. But going back to Plaza, in Plaza, whenever you have all the information, whenever you're ready to start writing your proposal, you should click on the button Call 2022 Now Open. And you will be redirected to this page. If you haven't yet submitted a proposal, this page, as it does for me, should appear empty. You may see in the top left of the page a button that says Add New Proposal, and we click on it. And then we see a new page with different tabs for different sections. And I will go tab by tab to explain to you what you should fill out and what is expected. So the first is to select what area you wish to submit a proposal for. So for instance, as I said, let's say that in my case, my fictional organization wants to submit a proposal for the thematic area of innovation. So I select innovation. Then innovation has different segments for their thematic proposals. Let's say I want to submit for logistics. And please don't bear in mind the coding for these proposals. This is just for internal purposes. Just focus on the title of each segment. So as I said, logistics, I give my activity, my proposal a title, test proposal, an acronym, TP in my case. And I'm going to say that it's, my organization wishes that it be a 2-year proposal. So from the 1st of January, 2022 until the 31st of December, 2023. So I select those dates. I write a short activity description. I click on the edit button and I write the text. I'm not going to do it now, but you just write the text, click on the save button, and it's there. Once you have filled in all the information for this tab, you click on save. If you still need to make any further changes, I suggest to click on save. If it's final and you're ready to move to the next step, you can click on check and save. The next step for context is to describe basically who will be the lead partner in the proposal and what other partners will be involved. You can add a website if available that for the proposal. And then for lead partner, you will see a drop down. My organization, in this case, is called Test 2. I am the activity leader. And let's say I want to add further partners to participate in my proposal. So for instance, I don't know, I would like Altran Spain, or sorry, Altran Netherlands in this case. And SEAT to also participate in my proposal. And I can select specific people from those organizations to have co-editing rights within this proposal. When I'm done in this tab, I click on save, and we can move to the next tab. And that is activity overview, which is basically a series of text boxes that must be completed related to the nature of your proposal. So for instance, what is the purpose of this activity? What is its aim and main objectives? You may see here the maximum number of characters that each text box allows, and you click on edit and write the text and save. The rest of the questions are other characteristics of the activity, the scope, what is the outcome and impact, the work plan. For the work plan, please recall that activities may be multi-year. In fact, I did select an activity for the length of 2 years. So in the work plan, I would insert, I would break it down into the work plan for the year 2022 and a high-level overview for the year 2023. Then for the key milestones, I just need to add them in the system, click on this plus button. And I just need to give its milestone a title and a very short description and an approximate date when the milestone will be achieved. And I click on save. For the partner roles and expertise, as you see, all the partners that I selected in the previous tab appear here. And in this section, I'm expected to write a short description on the role that each partner is going to take in the activity. You can write and then click on save. For the key outputs, it's very similar to the milestones. You just click here, give it each output a title, short description, and the date when it will be achieved. The same for deliverables to be submitted. Title, description, expected deliverable date. And for the core KPIs and EIT urban mobility specific KPIs, it's not exactly the same, but you also need to click on the plus button, and then you will see a drop-down list of available KPIs. In the call guidelines for each thematic area, you will be able to see which are the KPIs required for that area. So you will find them in this list of KPIs. And in the same list, you also find a brief description on the nature and requirements of each KPI. And also, it's worth mentioning that, as I said, if I want multi-year proposal, I should have target values for the years that I select my activity for. So in my case, 2 years, and I would say, for example, 3 target for the first year and 6 for 2023, and I would select just a market innovations KPI, for instance. The same for KIC specific KPIs. For the risk and management contingency plans, also click on the plus button and select the risk category. We have a drop-down list of possible risks that could be anticipated for the activity. And oops. Well, I think it was, but I can open it again. You just need to give each risk a title, assess the likelihood of the risk from very low to very high, assess the impact, again, from very low to very high, and give a brief description and a brief description for the mitigation measures planned to be taken. The rest of the text, you can fill in yourself by clicking on edit. And if you have questions about what each section is asking for, you can click on the help text and find a more extensive description. So when I would be done from this tab, again, click on save or check and save. And go to the next tab number 3, which has all the area-specific questions depending on the area I selected for the proposal to be included in. So since I selected innovation, these questions are geared and tailored for innovation proposals. I just need to fill them out with take into account the maximum number of characters. And in the end, I have the possibility to upload what we call a proposal supporting file. Please bear in mind that the maximum size is 5 megabytes, and it can be a PDF, for instance, or an illustration in the form of an image. I will check on save and move to the next tab, which is titled Sustainability. And it refers to how will your proposal address or contribute, better said, to the financial sustainability mechanism of EIT urban mobility. As you can see, there are 2 sections, one for amounts and one for equity. I will start from the end. From equity, basically, one of the possible sources for financial sustainability is equity participation in a company. So EIT urban mobility would get some equity from a startup or a company. And if you select this, you see that the mechanism is equity share. You're expected to write a description, brief description, make explicit what percentage of share, for instance, 5%. What is a responsible partner, and the country where the equity, the company's equity. So the company where the company that the equity will be shared is registered in or incorporated. And the projected date when this equity share transfer will be made effective. So when EIT urban mobility will be incorporated to the company's equity. For the rest of financial sustainability sources, they are here under amounts. And if we click here, we see that for the mechanisms, we have different sources. exploitation rate, fees, and we have this source that it says no contribution to financial sustainability. And that is very important for those proposals that from the area they're coming from or from the nature of the proposal, they are not expected to contribute to the financial sustainability of EIT urban mobility. And therefore they should select this option, this mechanism, instead of leaving this tab blank. Please always select no contribution to financial sustainability if your proposal is not expected to contribute. If it is, and you select, for instance, fees, again, a brief description and an estimated amount of in euros for each year on how it will contribute. Finally, the last tab to be completed after we save this one is tab number 5 for budgets. And in here, you're expected to fill in all the budgetary and financial information related to the costs you're expected to have for the activity, what partner is going to be responsible for what costs, what type of costs, and also where from what type of funding are these costs going to be financed? Is it going to be EIT funding or co-funding, and what part for each? So we should add all these budgetary information. By again, here we can see that, so we would select a partner, responsible person for this budget. You can fill in the FTE, and then for each type of cost, select an amount, and you can save. And the system automatically calculates the percentage of indirect costs, which is 15% that each partner is entitled to. And always click on check and save before moving forward. And so once we have finalized this last tab, we click on save. And we have completed the process of creating the proposal. However, in order to submit the proposal, all tabs not only need to be completed and saved, but also checked and saved. And in order to do so, if I try to do it, since I didn't actually fill in all the information that was required, I get a message saying that please complete task data or save and confirm each task record. So the system alerts you if you are still missing to complete any necessary information from each of the 5 tabs. Once all tabs are checked and saved, you can go back to the list of proposals that we will see here, where you will see your proposal or number of proposals that you created. And once all tabs are completed, this icon should appear filled in, not empty like it is now. And you just click on the submit button, and your proposal will be officially submitted. So that's it. That's the end of the run through of how to create and submit a proposal. I will stop sharing my screen and let my colleague Mark go back to his PowerPoint presentation. And yes, before I conclude, I just wanted to make a small summary in the form of a checklist of all the important aspects that need to be made sure of that they are completed before submitting the proposal. So first, make sure that all the partners participating in your proposal are also registered in PLAZA. So it's not enough that your organization, the one who is writing up the proposal, is registered. If you want other partners to participate in it and be shown, they also need to register. Also, please bear in mind that subgrantees or subcontractors are not considered partners, strictly speaking. Therefore, they should not be included as participating partners. So it's always important to make this distinction between normal official participating partners and subgrantees and subcontractors. Also, make sure that you select the correct thematic area in tab 0, because then the questions that are asked in tab 3, as you may recall, are specific to that thematic area. So you want to be answering the right questions, not the ones from another thematic area. Also, always remember to save all your changes or check and save, as I said, when you have completed every tab. Then remember that your proposal, as I said, can be multi-year up until the 31st of December 2024. So make sure that you are always consistent in the dates and the budgets and the items that require a date. So for instance, if you only have a proposal that is the planned duration is 1 year, please do not have deliverables that exceed the date and vice versa. Make sure, in the end, make sure that tabs 1 to 5 are completed and checked before submitting, because otherwise you will not be able, the system will not allow you to submit the proposal. And just a final tip, make use always of the help text in case of any doubts regarding any of the text boxes that are required to be filled in. And you can find always the help text with this question mark icon. That's it from my side. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope this was useful for you.
Okay, Oscar, thanks a million for your nice intervention, for your nice presentation. Now we are going to check which are the questions and we'll try to give some answer. Let's go for the first question. From Dennis. Is there a guide link for PLAZA? Well, in fact, yes, there is a guide, guidelines for PLAZA. Specifically, there's a guidelines for PLAZA that you can find in the guidelines for applicants that are posted in the EIT Urban Mobility website. Okay, if you go to any call for proposals, you will find different supporting documents, and one of the supporting documents is the guideline for applicants, where you will find all the steps referred to the registration process, but also all the steps referred to the introduction of a new project proposal. Furthermore, it's also important to mention that all these presentations and also the recording of this webinar session will be posted in our website. So we will have a lot of information referred to how to register your entity there and also to how to register and submit your project proposal. Okay. Let's go. Other questions. Hello, and thank you for this. I have noted that the work plan, but I'm not sure about filling outputs and deliverables or other info for 2023. Should they be filled in? I suppose that the detailed cost in the tab 3 budget cannot be allocated to them. Only for 2022? Well, I will try to give an answer. So the thing is that if you have a project that will consist in 2 years and you have clear which will be the budget that you will have, that you will need for the second year, it's important also to mention that. Also keep in mind, and this is also important, Keep in mind that regarding the deliverables or outputs, if you are going to submit a proposal for a project of 2 years, okay, it's important to identify which are the milestones, deliverables, outputs that will be taking place within the first year, but also within the second year of the implementation of your project, okay? So just keep that in mind. And finally, remember to mention a highlight version of your work plan strategy for the second year on the implementation of your project. Okay, let's go for more questions. Another question, what about the validated button? Okay, Oscar, I think that maybe you can give an answer to that, since it's referred to PLAZA.
My connection is a bit unstable. Mark, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, somebody here is asking about the validated button.
Yes. So the validated button, it refers to the fact that each tab within the proposal, as I said, has been checked and saved. So when a tab is checked and everything is completed, that tab is then validated. I hope that answers.
Okay, thanks a lot, Oscar. Okay, it seems that there are no more questions. Let's wait for 1 minute or two. Okay, I will take the time also to mention, and it's important to remember that in the most of the calls, there's not expected to have additional supporting documentation within the PLAZA application, meaning that just read the call. In the most of the calls, you will see that we are not expecting supporting documents, meaning that some of the calls will not read the supporting documents. So just try to include all the information required within the different tabs and the different fields that you have, okay? Because that will be the application form that for sure all the external experts evaluators will check in order to evaluate your project proposal, okay? So just try to not use the tab 3 possibility of attaching documents, okay? It's also important to remember you that in each of the tabs, you will have a question mark. There you will find more information about all the things that we have been talking about today. And well, as far as I see, it seems that there are no more questions. So just let me remind you that you can find all the emails and all the contact addresses for the different calls within the call documents of the different calls. Okay, so you just can contact us whenever you need our help, and we'll try to give you an answer as soon as possible. Okay, so thanks a lot to all the attendants. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your attention. And I hope that you will submit a lot of project proposals. Have a good day.